go. Woo! Woo! That was better. Let's go. YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day, and today we are ripping some cleans and some pulls, and it should be a pretty sweet and sickening day. We started off today with the warm-up, which was these crossover bounds. We had 4 sets both ways. I wasn't able to record those. I'll see if I can find a video there, but it's just basically a crossover shuffle for distance going 5 steps. Get out of here, you two. Get out of here. Well, look at these two. They're trying to snipe the video, bro. But we started off with those. Then we're going into these kneeling jumps into a jump mat jump. I'll record the last set of those. We've been hopping today. I'm pretty pumped about those. Then we got some muscle cleans in the front snatches. Then every minute on the minute regular snatches. And we finish up with some heavy ass pulls. We should be in, we should be out, and it should be sickening. Let's get after it. All right, so we start today off with these muscle cleans into a front squat, just focusing on extending hard and high and not humping the bar. And then ripping a front squat after. We got 5 sets of 3 here. Let's go. A little too light. We'll keep opening up. So I think the first video that I watched of the muscle clean, it was showing the muscle clean into the front squat, but the guys, he was just doing like a just straight arm pull with no even hinge. But Kato was talking about wanting to get those quads extended, so I'm assuming he wants a second video that I watched. It's a little bit more aggressive, but staying off of the toes. I was thinking, hi, if I'm muscling up, I go on the toes and I extend the quads if that's what he wants. But then I was like, that eliminates the whole point of the muscle part of a muscle clean, so I was trying to figure that out. But I think we keep feet flat, stand nice and tall, no dip underneath, and we get a little bit more momentum with the legs. So let's get it. Yeah, that's much better. There we go. I'm getting a lot of knee pain at the bottom of that catch and bottom of that squat position. It feels very meniscus-y, like it's catching at the bottom. Anytime I bend that knee like that, it's really feeling like it's catching. I'm able to sprint and jump just fine, not really having a ton of issues there. But it's really any time in that deep position, and it happened right away after those hang cleans last week. So I'm hoping that's just a little tweak and it goes away pretty quick and it's not a lingering thing. But we're gonna see how it goes with these cleans today. Might have to stay out of that bottom catch position. We'll see how it feels. Let's go. Other than that meniscus catching, I really like the feel of these. Feels fluid, and I have to snap those elbows underneath, and I feel like I'm getting a really nice pull, so I'm enjoying these. We got 2 more sets here, then we'll get to our jumps, and then we'll get to regular cleans, and we'll get some pulls. Let's do it. Ooh, that's weird. That might be too heavy. Oh, man. Ooh. We're going to stay there for 1 more set. Gotta get a little bit quicker with that turnover and a better pull. All right, last set here, and I was asked the question, mandatory gym equipment you must have. And I'll probably make a video on this, how I built out a gym or how I would build out a gym or whatever. I'd go into the full details and some of the cool toys that I got. But one of the things that I think we do that a lot of gyms don't do is a lot of the games and the agility stuff. And there's so many videos about other equipment that you can have and not a lot of videos about the PE equipment that you can have. So we're gonna go very basic today. We're gonna talk about 2 different balls. And anybody that runs agility games knows the importance of having a good ball. And I'm telling you, this is our experience through trying thousands of balls out and just ones we like and ones we don't like. If you can find a Go Sports dodgeball, they sell them in like packs of 6 for 20 bucks on Amazon. It's one of the bounciest balls you can have. It's squeezable enough, it flies in the air really nice, and it's an absolute athlete favorite. We got all of these stolen from us, and we used a variety of other dodgeballs, and all my athletes did was bitch about it until we got these dodgeballs back. And I really can't recommend them enough. Maybe I'll throw the Amazon link below, but if you're running any of the agility games, these Go Sport dodgeballs are absolute money. Then we got a soft volleyball. We play a lot of volleyball / tennis type games as our general warm-up prep. And having a soft, bouncy volleyball for our turf area is an absolute game changer for good volleys and getting a lot more athletes involved and just getting them warmed up for the day. And this Champion Sports Soft X version of this ball, again, I know it sounds silly, but it makes a massive difference to the athletes when you have a ball and equipment that operates in the agility games that you play, and this one is an absolute must-keeper. And the final ball I'm gonna talk about, I have to go grab, but it's probably the #1 most underrated agility ball you can use that I feel like not a lot of people know about. And it's the Eclipse ball. It's a little white and black ball. Shout out to Coach Herm. Back in high school, we used to play with this ball all the time. And like 5 or 6 years out of high school, I had to go back to my high school and ask him what ball we were using when we're doing that, because it's an absolute moneymaker. It's amazing for handball, it's amazing for wiffle ball, and hitting it with tennis rackets and bats. It's one of the most bouncy balls you have. It increases the pace of the game. So when I'm looking for like high velocity type game, I really want a small ball that can go a long ways so athletes can really throw that deep route and open up a little bit. It's super easy to catch. And it's a smaller ball option for especially female athletes or just athletes with smaller hands that can't really grip the dodgeball. And I know these things sound silly, but if you want good agility sessions, a lot of this stuff matters, because sometimes when we play with a big ball, and sometimes we'll do this on purpose to frustrate the athletes or just change it up, but when you play with a big ball, the game is so much slower and so much more sloppy because a lot of athletes can't grab it and actually throw it precisely. So having a smaller ball is great for increasing the speed of play. It's making it super fun for the athletes. And again, the benefit of this ball is that you can hit it with wiffle ball bats and tennis rackets, and it absolutely flies, and it's an absolute moneymaker. So the Eclipse ball is absolute keeper if you don't have it yet, and that's the 3 mandatory pieces of gym equipment, PE edition. Let's get this last set. Come on. Oh. Ooh, there we go. That's the extension we're looking for. Finally. All right, let's get to some jumps and then cleans. All right, now we got these kneeling broad jumps into a jump mat jump. The record this morning to beat is 32.3. Damn, dude, I really think I twisted up that meniscus. That bitch is a little tender whenever I bend that knee. But we got kneeling jumps into jump mat verticals here. Record this morning to beat was 32 inches. My record today is 30.5, so we're gonna try and beat that, try and rip a 31 here. Let's go. Oh, I mean, I call my fucking shot. 31-1, let's go. Oh, 31-2. Let's see if we can rip a 32 out of here. Let's go. Ah, whoa. That one read as a 47.6, and I did not jump a 47.6, so that's unfortunate, but we'll take our win for the day. 31-1, let's go. All right, now we got every minute on the minutes for 10 minutes. Drop, stop, cleans, catching that power, or a little bit below, then dropping and rebounding out of that clean position. Starting at 235, building up from there. Hit a couple reps for doubles, and if we're feeling good, we'll just keep opening up and increasing it. If that knee starts to catch and bother me, we'll probably stay at 295 to 315-ish range. All right, let's get it. Ooh. Hold it. Oh, that was sloppy, Jesus Christ. Ooh. 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 Just seeing and feeling how the bar is moving, and with how this knee is feeling. We probably don't have the juice to go anything crazy today, so we're probably just gonna make it a work day, keep it a little bit lighter, and not body the knee when the body isn't juiced up anyways. Then hopefully by Thursday, Friday, that knee's feeling better and we can start catching in that deep position again, but let's get it. Said all that shit about going light, then I realized this is already my 9th set, so probably go 295 here, then 315 to finish, and give myself a little piece of candy. Let's get it. Ooh. God damn. Ah, a little low. I think I can get a little bit higher. I'll try for one more rep. I want to try and get a legitimate, like, high power clean with these before I drop into it. I keep fucking bailing on this 315. I've got questionable powers with the 315, but not a full power. Let's get it. There we go. Woo. Woo. That was better. Let's go. That's a huge win for the program. That felt really nice and light. Those EMOMs, man, every time I do an EMOM, I build up so much better and I get to such a higher weight than if I try to 1-rep max every single time. The next time I do a 1-rep max, I'm just gonna make myself do an EMOM and build up the way I do with the EMOMs and just keep setting. I feel like those smaller jumps, every time I try to 1-rep max, I'm like, I'm gonna conserve energy and take big jumps, and every time I fuck myself up. So now that we know that, the next time we 1-rep max, we're gonna be a little bit smart about it. Now we got these low hang pulls, 4 sets of 2 at 365. Let's rip. let's go. All right, second set here. I was asked a question about the JST Insider program, which is training with me and my online programs, and asking if they're individualized and customized for the athlete, or if they're just an ebook. And honestly, I'd like to do a little bit of a combination. So you sign up, you fill out the questionnaire, tell me what you're looking for, and then I put you on the program that is already pre-made. So we have a Building Better Mover series, which is everything that we do with our athletes in the gym. It's literally what I do with them that morning. I copy it and post it online onto the website. We have a Get Yoked series, which is a hypertrophy series I run every single time. I'm trying to get cut up and yoked for something, for a vacation or for a photo shoot, that type of thing. We have a fantastic female series, which is more for the novice female athletes. If we have an advanced or intermediate female athlete, we're just going to put them on the Building Better Mover series. But this one's a little bit more novice friendly. Honestly, I have a lot of my high school athletes run that type of program. We have a program for older athletes. We have a vertical rocket series program, which is like our max velo and max vertical program. And then we just created the Building Better Ollies program, which is all the stuff we do in the morning with Olympic lifting added in, and basically everything that I'm doing Olympic lifting plus all my movement-based stuff that I do. So those programs are all built out. Once you fill out the questionnaire, I sign you up for one of those programs and we run it through. Program changes every 3 weeks to the next phase. And something that I really pride myself on is when you get a new phase of a program and you pay for something new, it is something that progresses with what you were doing before, but it is not just changing sets and reps from 2 sets of 8 to 3 sets of 10. It just feels like the biggest scam to me ever when programs are like that. You buy a 12-week program and all 12 weeks are exactly the same, except the set and rep schemes change, and you can argue for the regression part of that. I just think there's a lot better models to do that. So all of your exercises, all of your accessories, everything like that is going to change. All your movement problems are going to change there. And then you have access to the instant message on the app, where you can just talk back and forth and we can make changes and adjustments based on your program there. Now, if you're looking for an elite one-on-one where I'm fully customizing it for you, and this is usually where I push my professional athletes to, that's our elite athlete training program, and all of that's going to be one-on-one and fully customized. But we don't do any ebooks yet. I'm going to make some ebooks on the game module stuff that we do and a lot of the spine stuff we do, and I'm working on those and they're in progress. But those will probably be the only ebooks that I do. Everything else is going to be on the Insider, and it's a reoccurring program because my goal is to work with athletes for 30 years, not 3 weeks. And that's something I really pride myself in and something that I have a ton of fun in as a coach. So that's kind of the Insider explained. It's the balance of an ebook and a customized training model. And if you want the fully customized model, we have a higher price tag option for that. But honestly, most people I'm pushing towards those Insider programs because I think you get 90% of the bang for a quarter of the cost. And I'm not going to upsell you on something you don't need. So that's pretty much the Insider summed up. Let's get to the second set here. Ooh, let's go. All right, last set here, then we got to run the softball. We'll yap in the car a little bit for the last little topic today, and then we'll get after it. Let's go. Ooh. Woo. Let's go. All right, you two back with the car rants on our way to softball. We got a 40-minute drive. Our ETA is 7:27. We're going to have to cut that down because game time starts at 7:25. But we had a really solid training day today. Those poles have been feeling absolutely spicy. And it's really helping the clean, obviously. We're getting that 315 power clean in and a power that I was actually super happy with. That wasn't sussy, little sussy depth. Felt like that's a pretty generally acceptable depth for a power on that 315 today. And that's the first time I can say there was no sus in that power. But the bar is just feeling so light on those poles. Because of all the heavy pulls that I've been doing on K-Dot's program, it's a Tuesday staple. And those things used to absolutely fuck me up. And now I actually feel really strong with them. So that's cool to see the progress there. The last thing I want to rant about is I was asked a question about if I do evals for athletes, and this is something I've become more accepting on as I've matured in the training world. I get why people do them. Showing progress and gamifying it for athletes and parents gets them the pay, shows them results, shows them what you value in the program, which makes them inevitably give intent to those things. But with that, that's honestly, with all of the testing stuff that we do, something that I feel like a lot of coaches, they do these evals and then they only train for those evals, and they get lost in this fairy tale land that the eval is what makes a good athlete, and they forget that the eval is just there to, again, gamify training and give intent to training to things that you think matter. But many times the test just becomes everything, and we kind of lose sight of what we're actually training for, which is to become a better athlete on the field. But again, I've become more accepting of these things. I just think a lot of coaches get lost in them. Personally, I do not do any evals of my athletes in the traditional sense. We're not doing any massive mobility tests that are kind of bullshit anyways. And while we do get sprint, jump, and lifting data, obviously, we just do those in the training. And what I really like to eval with the athletes, and this is the number one thing that I do, is when they come, I watch how they walk in the building. And even Before that, our building is a little bit more interesting to find. It's kind of hard to find the door and what door to go through. And it tells you a lot about that athlete and where they're at mentally, if they can figure out even how to just get in the door of the gym without texting you, without panicking or freaking out on if they went to the wrong spot. If they can just get into the door of the gym without doing any of that, I realize, oh, they're a competent athlete that handles their own shit. And they're probably a little bit more of a mature athlete that has their things together. And if they can't, I realize a lot of the training stuff that we're going to do is going to come backseat to just making them a more mature athlete and human. And then once they get in the gym, I just love watching how they interact with the new people. Our gym is kind of cult-like. There's a lot of community members that have been there for 4 or 5 years. And training partners have turned into true, deep friendships, which is something I absolutely love about my gym. But as an outsider, when you come in and you see all these groups, it can definitely be intimidating. I just want to see how they interact with those groups. Can they introduce themselves to me and to the group? Do they look to me for guidance on everything, or they just follow the group around and figure it out as they go? How do they walk when they're walking around? Are they walking staring at the ground all slunched over and nervous? Or are they standing up tall and communicating and talking to people, right? All these things will tell me a lot psychologically about the athlete within the first 10 minutes of meeting them, and tells me a lot about where and what messages I need to give this athlete that is probably going to have a bigger impact on their lives than just training in and of itself. And then when it comes to the training aspect, I just put them straight into our general warm-ups, I put them straight into our agility, and then we just run that workout that we have programmed that day. And we can currently get all of the data throughout the week. So if they come on a day when we're sprinting, we're going to get their first fly 10 time. I'm going to get to see them move in these general warm-up games. I'm going to get to see where they're stiff, where they're confident, where they struggle. When they get into the weight room, I get to see their strength levels. Can they squat? Can they hinge? When we do some of the smaller hip mobility exercises, are they able to get into those positions? And if not, why? I'm just absorbing all of this data, so at the end of the day, I can go have that conversation with them and talk to them about where they're at and where they want to go, and the things that I saw and the things I feel like we need to make improvements on. And then the program throughout the week will be a little bit tailored to these things. That's how I really love programming, is just looking at consistent trends with athletes and things that they're struggling with and where we need to spend a little bit more time. Whether it's a mobility challenge, a strength deficit, a speed number. One of the things that you see a lot of times with speed numbers when we're focusing early in the offseason on hypertrophy work, the athletes are all sore and beat up and their speed work's dropped, so I like to follow that with a lot of speed work after to make sure we're balancing out those stimuluses. If they can't jump, we're probably going to add in a little bit more pogos and plyometrics and jumping activities for them. But again, I think you can learn as much about an athlete on day 1 as you can day 300 if you're just watching and constantly building out their program and not just having this dead sheet of paper that you programmed 12 weeks ago. I really like to have an alive program that's adjusting the needs that athlete has in the moment. Their needs month 1, you can solve all those needs, but what about month 2 when they have different needs and they have different limitations, or solving their old limitations opened up new limitations? You'll see this a lot once they get past a beginner and intermediate level and you get to some of those advanced levels. So that's why I don't truly value the first day eval as much, because like we can solve those problems. If you can't solve those problems, you suck as a strength coach. But what about the problems that consistently pop up with these athletes, and how are you keeping that program alive and constantly evaling them to make sure the things that they're struggling with you in that moment and the things they want to get better at with you in those moments are actually being addressed, rather than sticking to the original 4 things that we tested that very first day. And again, while we're doing this, the way that we gamify the data piece is we continually track jump mat, fly 10s, and strength numbers, so that they also have that piece of it. Again, it's not like we throw those things out. We don't make a big eval day out of it. We don't make big testing days out of it. We just concurrently test these things, continually give athletes chances at these tests, and the failures and successes from the test will give you a lot of answers and data points on how you should program next. And to me, that keeps the program much more alive than evaling on day 1, doing all the tests on day 1, and then doing the same thing on the very last day of your program. And I think a lot of times that just turns to you putting your blinders on and turning in that test into something that the test wasn't made for. And then the test gives you way less answers about if your program works or not, because you tailored everything to the test, not to the problems that you're actually trying to solve, which are with the organic athlete in front of you. So those are kind of my thoughts on the eval process. I'm not totally against them. I understand why they're there. I just think a lot of times it turns into a little nookie for the strength coaches to prove to themselves and prove to the athletes that they did their job. And I get that. I just feel like if you get to a point in which you understand that you can do your job, and that's the bare minimum of what you do, you can take these things to a little bit deeper and next level and just keep things a little bit more alive and a little bit more organic. And for me, that keeps coaching really fucking fun, and why I show up every day at 6 a.m. with a bunch of idiots. So appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood.